Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is the second day in a row I've been doing this. I have not seen the other video, if I got any comments or posts or something like that. So, I do apologize. I'm going to start trying doing these twice a day, 5 to 6 times a week. When I'm going to work and coming from work. I work at a theme park in Orlando, and I drive people from place to place as a bus driver. So, so, ladies and gentlemen, yesterday I proposed a question to you guys about the calendar. On that same note, though, so I'll read the comments and stuff like that once I get to work, and then the video coming home from work is when I'll do like the replies and stuff like that. So, do you think it would screw the players up if we had, in this new world that I'm building, a 26-hour day? So the extra 2 hours of the day. Honestly, I'm sitting there thinking about it even as I say the question. You know, I'm going, those 2 hours could screw up a lot of people in gameplay because you're not understanding, you know, and do you need, is a long rest down 9 hours instead of 8 hours? So for mechanics wise, we just stick with the normal 24 hours. And this is why I like doing this, because it gives me a chance to sit down while I'm driving, relaxing, you know, heading out to work, not much to worry about, and just mull things over, think about how things are going, why things are doing what they're doing, you know. It intrigues me that people have all these wonderful ideas. It's like, here's the idea. Somebody else make it, like, you know, work. And I'm sitting here, I have an idea. I'm doing everything in my power. And it's just not catching with me sometimes, you know? Alright, so the biggest problem I'm having right now is my placement of cities. The second biggest problem is the gods. I kind of have a story to why they exist. Sorry. But it's just some parts of it like, why is this city here? Why would this city be here? Why is this village here? Why would this town be here? You know? And until recently, I really had no one to turn to. But I found a YouTube series, WASD20. He's been really helpful, whether he knows it or not. I mean, I've talked to a few people in Discord and stuff like that, which I'll be posting later. Not today, but like later, next year, later. Not 2021, but sometime in 2020 I will post all my information, stuff like that. But he's like, he was was talking about, locations. Why would a city grow here? Okay, well, it's close to water, which means shipping. Okay, cool. It means a lot of people are going to show up because there's work. Fishermen show up, fishmongers, cool, which means at time, farmers farming land and things like that. Cool. And it gave me an idea of reasons why certain towns would go to certain places, And then it got me thinking about undercities. Like dwarves, drow, things that live under the surface. Well, what do they eat? Do they go out to the surface and farm and stuff like that? Not likely. So most of them, if they're not a monster, like dwarves. Okay, dwarves have got something I haven't read much about. There's probably a crap ton of information about it and stuff like that. But what do they eat? Do they farm? I mean, are they strict meat eaters? I mean, do they have, farms for animals? Do they have vegetable farms? How do they cook stuff? How do they preserve stuff? In my opinion, and this is strictly an opinion, dwarves and anything that, like drow, so that they would have very unique types of food, like slugs or anything that lives underground, because you gotta use what you got. Okay, so this is a common resource. We know we can farm it. We know we can breed it. Cool. Animal-wise, let's go with this. Oh my god, it tastes nasty. Well, then we've got to figure out a way to eat it. Okay, so let's try seasonings. Cool. Alright, no. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Alright, what's about turning into jerky? Alright, hey, that works really well. Okay, so that's what we do. Now let's experiment with jerkying and see what spices and stuff like that we can use. Okay, cool. These work, these don't. Alright, but where are we getting our spices from? Okay, so now we have underground farms with plants and stuff like that. Well, where are they getting their sunlight? Well, maybe these are unique ones that don't need sunlight. Okay, cool. So they look different and taste different because of that. The soil and stuff like that. Or maybe like the case of, pardon me. In case of the dwarves, like, we've got, lava nearby, so we've got a radiant heat and we got a light source, which means some plants, maybe they'll grow, maybe they won't, maybe they'll be different because of the light source or the lava and stuff like that. Okay, cool. Let's take, for instance, garlic. Alright, so what would be different? Well, garlic needs good soil and they need sunlight to grow. Okay, well, now we've got lava, which makes the soil really freaking rich in some cases, and we've got light from lava. Alright, so how's that going to change the flavor and taste? Well, that's something we'll have to talk about later. So with the other project I'm working on, the reason why I bring up the food and stuff like that is I'm actually trying to figure out a Dungeons and Dragons based cookbook. And I want to make the recipes so you can legitimately make them. But I want to have a story in there that's going to give people the opportunity and a chance to be entertained while reading it. So I guess the question for this video is, what do you think is food in a D&D game? Not for the players, but for the characters. What do you think would be a meal that a player would get? Like on the road, or in a tavern. Like, let's do 3 meals, okay? 1 for on the road, 1 for in a tavern, and 1 for at a house, like a noble's house. And you could use food that you find every day on Earth and stuff like that in the real world. But what do you think you would find? Like, oh, then we've got the racial differences. Like, what would you find in an elf tavern versus a dwarf tavern versus a tabaxi tavern? You know. Have fun. Give me a couple answers. If you have any ideas, questions, comments, concerns, or suggestions, put them down in the comments. I promise I will read them. Just give me a little bit of time. I'm new to this whole thing, and I want people to... I want to get comfortable so you guys feel comfortable. And then when people ask, oh, you know, why are you doing these videos and stuff like that? I'm like, I'm doing them for myself. I'm doing them to get things out there. I'm doing them to help myself work out issues that I've got building things. So if you guys like them, cool. If not, hit the down like. I don't, you know, hit the like, hit the down like, don't hit a like at all. That's up to you. So I'm still working on a send-off. So let's see how this next one works on a send-off. May the dice roll in your favor, and may your failures always be funny. Have a good night, guys.